February. Hello, and do not worry. Today is going to be a great day. Today I'm bringing you our very first book club video. Okay, every month on the first of the month, I will be making the next book club video where I will be discussing that month's book. I will also make sure to go into the comment section later that day after the video is uploaded to talk with you about your thoughts on the book, and we can start a conversation. Next month we will be talking about the Elysian Prophecy by Vivian Reis, or Rice. Not sure how to say her name, sorry. I will leave a link in the description to that book on Amazon so that you can get it, and if you want to read it, we can talk about it on the 1st of February. This month I'll be talking about The Savior's Champion by Jenna Moreci. I will leave a link to both her YouTube channel and a link to Amazon to buy the book in the description below. As a disclaimer, this video will contain spoilers. So if you haven't read the book and you plan to, you might not want to watch this video until you do. Alright, I finished this book 2 days ago. I'm not a productive person. I don't leave a lot of time for reading usually. I get busy. My weekends are usually filled with family events. I usually don't get to read much. I'm changing that this year. But it took me far too long to read this book. I read most of it, probably over half, in May. Early May. While I was on vacation in Cancun because I actually had time. There was actually a balcony that was attached to our room. We had 2 rooms, but it was attached to one of our rooms. And I just loved, after a day out in the sun, to just go on the balcony and sit and read my book with the wind just whipping through the air and looking out at the ocean. And it was, well, I don't think it was the ocean. I don't know. The ocean, but yeah, I absolutely love to just sit there and read my book on that balcony. So I got, like, I don't know, probably 2/3 of it done, and it was actually there where I first came up with my theory that Layla was actually the savior, and that she had Cosima pose as her so that she could get to know the contestants better. And I was right. I was right. I was very, very much right. I am so happy that I was right because I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I'm happy that I knew it because I wanted it to happen. Really, really wanted it to happen. And it did. Okay, I can't remember at which part I started to believe that Layla was actually the savior, but I do remember when Tobias had to fight Antaeus in the arena, and she blessed him with the muddy X on his chest, and he asked her if Cosima would be mad that she was using magic, and Layla's first response was, why would Cosima be mad? And then when Tobias reminded her that it was Cosima's magic, Layla's response was, oh, I guess we'll see. Yeah, I think I literally squealed because I was so excited. I'm like, yeah, no, that's it. She's the savior. She is the savior. She can't even remember whose magic it is. She's the savior. There were actually several factors that had led up before that I can think of, such as, one, her never being out in daylight. If you notice, they do go out of the tunnel. I believe it was once before then, but it was in the middle of the night. And also her healing, because he had described it as kind of magical or miraculous. And he had always been like, you're such a good healer. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, you're literally saying she's magic. Like, you're literally saying she's magic. So, yeah, there were several. Yeah. Just with all that together, I was like, convinced. I was absolutely convinced at that part. However, Jenna did succeed in creating doubt. I did start to doubt myself. So for the next big chunk of the novel, those little details that I kept picking up on kind of went away. They started to disappear. And I'm not sure if they just weren't there or if I wasn't picking up on them. But there were several events that happened and like all these things I had been picking up on suddenly kind of went away and there weren't really much more evidence to bring. And it went on for so long that I start to kind of doubt myself and be like, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I still really hope it does. And one event I can think of where it did create a lot of doubt in my mind was the event where they had to go diving for rings. And he was blessed the second time with the 2 handprints on his chest after he saw Cosima. And then he went down to do the rings, and at the very end, remember Raphael gets bit by the Guardian, attacked by the Guardian, and Tobias is trying to help him, and Layla wants to go in, and she's like, lower the force field, and then the proctor says, no, I only take orders from the Savior. And I turn to Cosima, and she's like, she wouldn't let them put the shield down before counting the keys. And I'm just like, oh, I hate that. I really hate it that I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, that kind of pokes a hole in it. You should think if she's a savior, she'd have that say. Looking back at it, it was probably kind of in a way to spite her. Because he was probably pretty annoyed with her, like, angry. She wasn't supposed to be down there. And then she pulled this, like, magic swapping act. And, yeah, it was probably kind of to annoy her. Because she really didn't have the respect she deserved as being the savior. So looking back, it makes more sense now as to why it happened. But at the time, reading it, I was really frustrated. Because I'm like, you know, that might mean that's not the direction the book's going in. But again, I really, really wanted it to be. So she almost had me for a minute. And I actually wrote in my journal the night before I finished reading, quote, I still want Layla to be the real savior in disguise. Because I was thinking about that, I was emotionally invested in that. And it was coming to like the last 2 chapters, the last 2 or 3 chapters, I'm like, alright, it's not shown, like it's still possible, but I'm not sure it's gonna happen. But of course, Layla did reveal herself as the champion almost at the very end, actually. It was the very end of the second to last chapter when she came through. But I was excited because there were a few details right before then that started to support it again. Like when Tobias went from Cosima's chambers to Layla's, and he had talked about Cosima having like just a plain drawer. Like it wasn't anything impressive. She just had a wooden like dresser behind her, and it wasn't a big room, there was nothing special about it. Then he runs to find Layla, has a guard at her door, has a huge bedroom, and her own private garden. Like, come on, tell me she's not more important than Cosima. So I started to get excited again, and I'm like, oh my god, this might happen. Alright, there were 2 other things that became clear to me at this point. They weren't on a more plot side, but more on a technical, out of the story kind of side. The first was how much I liked Flynn, and how much of an awesome character he was, because he betrayed Tobias by literally blackmailing him and trying to kill him. And I still didn't want him to die. And that arena, when Kaleo went up to him, I'm like, no, you can't kill Flynn. Flynn. Like, no, you can't kill Flynn. No, like, he's gonna live. It actually reminded me kind of Finnick from the Hunger Games. I loved Finnick. I didn't want him to die ever. I'm depressed. Yeah, he reminded me in a way of Finnick from the Hunger Games, and how I just loved him for like no reason. But something interesting I found was that you didn't really know his backstory as much. Like, you know, he was rich, he had money, he wanted Cosima, he wanted to win. But you didn't really know much about his backstory, and yet I find he was one of my favorite competitors. I mean, yeah, he was my favorite competitor, excluding Tobias, because it's Tobias, of course. Like, of course. I still didn't want him to die. I mean, I liked him. I didn't want him to die. And when Kaleo went to face him and almost killed him, I didn't want it. And I knew it was likely, like, there was only one person coming out of this, but I didn't want him to die. And yet I really kind of felt like I understood him in a way. Like, imagine how jealous he must have been. He was trying so hard, and yet Tobias, who clearly was not trying, kept winning Cosima's favor, and oh my god, he must have been so frustrated. And like, I feel for him, you know? Even though I really don't know much of his past. Especially compared to other characters like Orion. But also, Kaleo was an amazing character. I loved how he was like this large, soulless beast who couldn't stop making jokes and smiling. That juxtaposition, man. Like, I loved that. I mean, even his last words. Faced with death, starts to joke about not knowing what to do with all the coin he would have won. And then uses the term, "It seems I'll be parting this world." Like, that's a guy who's playing a game, like a board game, and not about to die in front of an arena full of people. Like, it's crazy. He was just such a fun character, and it was really weird. Because I didn't want him to die either. Like, I hated him. I mean, I hated him since he killed Milo. I bawled at Milo's death. I mean, he was such a small part of the story. I'm looking back at it now, but I hated him since Milo. But, like, I didn't want him to die because he was so fun. You know, he was like... It was like, he was such an interesting character who truly was a character that you love to hate. Like, I loved hating him. But even in the one competition where all the other royals placed bets on them as to who would kill someone else, it was the four of them pinned together, and then Tobias was like just killing it. So he had to choose between Kaleo, Flynn, and Drake to kill. I wanted it to be Drake. Like, I was like, no, don't kill Flynn, obviously. But between Kaleo and Drake really wasn't a big part of it. Like, he didn't personally taunt Tobias, but I wanted him to kill Drake because I wanted Kaleo to last a little longer, you know? It was crazy, and it was kind of like a solemn moment when he did die because he was gone, you know? He died, and I was happy he died. At the same time, I was sad he died. Like, he was an amazing character. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were definitely other factors, such as, well, I'm a huge fan of Jenna's YouTube channel. I mean, personally, I really enjoyed the pacing and the humor and suspense that she created, but I'm a firm believer that the world isn't just black and white, and that problems don't always have one solution, and that nothing is ever just one thing. And Kaleo was an amazing example of that. He was a great example that people have both good and bad in them, and that nature is by no means perfect. I think it's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to go in the comments, tell me what you thought of the book, so that we can talk, because I'm really interested in what you have to say and what your perspective is. I mean, I personally really enjoyed this book, but other people might not. So, a smiley farewell, and remember, nothing is ever just one thing.